Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. I am Gladys. I love cake, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating. I had plans to make a cake, but unfortunately today we are not exactly making a cake because our plans here was to frost these little things we made here. We made them 2 days ago, which is here. These are sort of cake cones. They are very simplistic cupcake batter that I put into these ice cream cones. They're very simple to make, and the idea is that they make great presentation at kids' parties. Okay, so the intention was to get these done, have them frosted to look like ice cream. So why am I here? I'm only here honoring a promise that I will be here today at 2 p.m. And even though it's past 2 p.m., I just thought I'll honor my word because there's chaos in my life, people. There's an emergency situation developing, and if you're watching this live, you'll find that as soon as I don't know if I'm going to be able to say a proper goodbye. I don't know. I don't even know, because normally the phone on which you are watching me from, okay, which is okay, right. My people are in the chat. Like, you would normally be seeing me here and my phone is on do not disturb. As I speak to you, my phone is not on do not disturb, people. You know why? Because I have some emergency situation developing for which I need my phone to be live so that I can get a call related to that. So because of that, I can't put my phone on do not disturb. So this live is actually on its last legs, that if the phone call comes through, I'm just going to go bye and be gone. Okay, so let's just enjoy the little time we have here, because I did promise I was going to be here today, and despite good reason to not be here, I thought I'll come. But it also means that I wasn't prepared for the live at all. I went shopping for the items that I needed, and then chaos develops, and I ran back home, and it's been a shit show since. It's been a shit show. So I am only here giving you my presence just to honor my word, because 2 days Tabitha, I can't either. I'm not here for the whole thing. We're not, look, our time is by the minute, okay? We're here by the minute. But people, the time is by the minute, because the moment my phone goes, I'm gone. I'm not going to be here. But it's because I woke up. You know, sometimes when you wake up and you have your own plans and the life gets in the way. I was literally updating my community posts live when I was in bed, going, oh, I'll see you at 2. 2 o'clock came, and a lot has happened since. But happy Saturday. If you're watching me on your on this Saturday morning, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, we're not baking and we're not doing anything serious. We're just catching up, and I'm just thinking of just showing my face to let you know that I am around. I'm not going to be here for long. I am... Thank you, Tapeta. Thank you so much. You know, I haven't been here for 2 days, so I'm like, I can't leave you guys. But yes, Tapeta, thank you for the goodbye in advance. That's how we roll over here. How is mom? Okay, and for the rest of you, look, we'll come back and frost these another time. I was just worried that if I started all of this and I had to go, then I had to go. So I am so sorry. I'm just showing up to say thank you for your patience with me. I did promise I was going to be here daily. A girl went to promise more than she can deliver. It hasn't been daily. Look, I am thirsty. I am hungry. I haven't eaten. If you're Ghanaian or African, you know this. It's not alcohol, people. Don't come for me. I have to eat something, okay? That said, I've got news for you people. I watched with Love Meghan. I want to tell you all about it. Sarah, thank you for being here. I want to tell you all about it. Please don't listen to the propaganda, okay? I want to tell you, okay? Whew. There are 8 people in the chat, okay? If you've just joined me, and if you want to hear my experience with watching with Love Meghan, leave us a hand, as in a wave in the chat, just because I want to tell you about it. But I'm not telling you all the episodes. I only tell you the episode where cake is concerned, because if you haven't noticed, we're a cake making channel. We make cakes, and I'm just interested. Anywhere there is cake, I have my eyes there. So I just want to see a cake, okay? And I'm not going to give you the propaganda and all of that, because I'm neither here nor there. I don't know the woman. She lives her life. She gets a lot of hate. There might be fair reason to like or not like her. None of that matters to me. The most important thing here is that, like, for me, the hate has become so sporty that it invalidates the good reason people may have to not like her. I don't think anybody should be subjected to such hateful content on a daily basis. But when I say hateful, I mean hateful, right? There are fair criticisms of her and her actions and her intention, as long as people are applying their critical thinking skills and deciphering what is true, what is perceived, what is assumption. Bearing in mind, people don't even know her. We all don't know her. So I am just going to kind of give you my thoughts on the experience of watching the episodes that involves cake, and my general observation about the thing that I saw that perhaps is probably not exactly what the propaganda and the news media is flashing about. It's not like I'm fangirling, but I'm not going to spew hate, because if you've been on this channel before, you'll know we don't do hate here. We are very safe and positive, except that subject is so divisive. I kind of thought, oh, since I watched it, let me come and tell you about it. So if you're here, Lollipop is in the chat. Lollipop, I have some developing emergency, but since I committed to telling you I'll be here today at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. came, the emergency is developing. I'm like, I can't go on a live. But then I did say I'll be on a live. So I'm just showing up just to show my face and for us to catch up. I didn't manage to even plan for frosting these cupcakes here. You know why? Because I went shopping and then the emergency developed and everything went bush. So I don't know how long I have to be here. I am looking at my time closely. If you're just joining me, I did say I didn't even put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So if the call for which I am waiting for the update of the emergency cuts through, I'm gone. Okay, I'm not even going to be able to say goodbye. Okay, so let's just enjoy the time we have together. And all you 13 people, I never ask you anything other than just say, please, please, please be kind and like the video. Just like the video to show support for being here. And like I'm saying, because we're not making cake, we are going to infuse something cake related, where this would have been an episode of Caking It with Gladys, where we talk about all things cake in the news, things in cake land and cake world and anything cake related. Unfortunately, I didn't plan for that. So I'm just giving you my thoughts on my me watching with Love Meghan. I normally don't. Why did I go? Pardon my manners. Look, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I have a lot. Okay, so people, what are we talking about? I didn't watch with Love Meghan. I watched episode 1 and episode 2. That half of episode 2. That's where I am at. If I manage to get through all of it, I'll come and tell you. But I am limiting my thoughts to where where the content relates to cake, because I'm a cake maker. In episode 1, there was the making of honey and is it honey and lemon cake? I would love to come back and try that recipe. You see, we all have stuff going on. Tapita can't say. Lollipop has British gas. I have stuff waiting. I'm waiting for a mechanic too, and a few other things. So people, look, life happens. So let's just have a laugh whilst we go on. So let's talk about with Love Meghan, the episode that I saw. I saw episode 1 and half of episode 2, and that's about where I am at. And these are my thoughts about the cake that she made. It looked amazing. That is if she made the cake. Even if she did get an input from a chef, That's the sense of the show, because some of these shows, especially these ones that are polished, you have experts behind the scenes who help the whole thing. And the point is, they're selling you an idea. So when I put my critical thinking skills on, I'm like, it's a good cake. The recipe is developed nicely, and the outcome, whether she made it or not, is still amazing. I'd love to come back. I'd love to come back and make that cake. So hold that thought. In terms of the general aspects of the show that I saw, which is episode 1 and episode 2, did I watch? I saw episode 1, episode 2, and half of episode 3. Now look at me, tell a lie. I think I saw half of episode 3, the episode where she has her Nacho's wife. Well, her husband's friend comes over. I think that's, but episode. Is it? I'm not confused about which ones I saw. I saw episode 1 with her bestie. And then episode 2 has to do with... Oh, actually, I saw a bit more than that. I saw a bit more than that. Look at me. Look at my brain. My brain is kind of gone. Anyway, people, let's just take episode 1. Episode 1 had cake in it. And I've told you about the cake. The cake looked amazing. And it's nice, and I love it. I love the idea of the cake. I'd love to come and try it. It was, I think it was honey and lemon olive oil cake. It's really lovely. The way she served it, the intention that goes into it. Great cake. No problems over there. In terms of the general concept of the show, I'm like, I was watching it, and I was scratching my head a little bit. Because here's the good part. The show was well shot. I mean, the amount of money that were invested in the experts, as in the production team shooting the show, amazing. The cuts, I mean, if you're a content creator and you're watching it from a technical point of view, it is amazing to look at. Like, it's beautiful, okay? I have nothing against it. And if anyone thought that we were here, sometimes the sort of critical sort of critique we've given to Meghan because she's a divisive subject in the papers. No, we don't hate over here. We don't hate her. I don't, certainly. I just kind of, there are things that I question, and I think it's fair to be able to question that. But the show was shot beautifully. I think the licensing of the music, with no knowledge of how that works, wow. The selection of music that was in, it makes the show so hearty and so lovely that if you love music and you love, like, you like to just daydream about beautiful stuff. I do. I will not lie. It was really nice to watch. However, it was like, it was an upgraded YouTube show. Like, some of these accomplished YouTubers, right, would have made that show. So I was like, why is this on Netflix for that assumed amount of money? Because there was no, like, real substance to a show like that on Netflix. It was like, what is this all about? Like, somebody, it's like when, yeah, that part. Like, there was not, the friend in episode 1, the friend who was visiting, he looked completely terrified. Like, if I had my friend in a kitchen with me, somebody who I actually called a friend in the kitchen with me, and we were shooting a show, yeah, come to think about it, it's planned, it's a setup, it's all of this thing. The authenticity of it might just be a little bit programmed, if you like. But if I had my friends that I have history with, my friends, well, maybe I have to pull some of my friends to the side and be like, you better watch your mouth over there, and you can't say this, you can't say that. Like, the things I probably don't want to bring to the public domain, I will have to give them heads up about it. But the strength of our friendship should be so strong and so informative enough that we can, look, you hardly know me, you don't know me, you see me on the screen and I talk to you and we share things about each other. And I assume that if I were to pull any of you from the internet right here into my kitchen, because of the things we have already established, our likability factors, we will be able to get on and be able to create a fun show and be able to find some sort of real connection. And on watching the show, I couldn't see a connection with her and her friend at all. She looked super anxious. Like every time her friend was talking, she was gritting her teeth and shooting daggers. Now, I'm not like going into the propaganda of the media and saying, oh, she's a horrible person. She just came across as somebody who was so anxious about trying to perhaps keep the image, I don't know, whatever that was. She just was anxious. I mean, it was almost like she's talking to somebody who she felt like, I have to watch you so you don't say anything. And the friend was looking like, can I speak? I'm like, why did you name me my friend? Why did you name me my friend? Call him an acquaintance, call him a colleague, do whatever. But I guess that was because the show is called With Love and the idea is to present her. And I think episode 1 actually flawed the entire concept of the show. The episode, because if you're trying to present this person, look, some of these chefs on the on YouTube, some of these chefs, I can think of not your top tier ones. Like when you think about your Gordon Ramsay, they are like the cream of the crop. Like these are people who are now like brands in the as themselves. But I think of, say, this chef, what's his name, a very lovely, sweet looking, handsome guy, what's his name, Nick Giovanni. Is it Nick Giovanni, the young boy chef, and his group of friends? When they get together, I saw a video recently. Jackie, I disappeared yesterday on you. Just wait for a sister. I will find you, okay? I saw Nick. I saw a video recently of Nick and Mark Rober. Now, I may be talking random stuff over here, especially if you don't watch that content. But Mark Rober, is it Mark? Yeah, Mark Rober. He is huge on the platform, huge. And I mean huge. He's a science-based content creator. But not just that. We won't reduce his skills and person to just a science-based. Like that man went to, is it MIT or something? Like he is like a proper like person with proper brains, right? And he does all this science-based content. And it's amazing. And he teamed up with Nick, right? And they did an episode on Nick's, is it Nick's Kitchen or something like that? And he's supposed to teach Nick how to, no, Nick is supposed to teach Mark how to cook. And he sets him some tasks and amazing stuff. When you finish watching this, go and watch that, like on Nick's channel. Like, I bring that to draw some sort of comparison to the context of what I was trying to say with the first episode of With Love Meghan. Because when I saw Nick and Mark Rober doing the show, this is like, of course, they've hired expert and production assistants, and a whole professional production went into this YouTube video, okay? They do professional stuff. And when you see the chemistry on screen, how they gel with each other, you can see, even if they are not like intimate friends, they are professionally connected or in some form, right? And it was so feel good, it was lovely, it was nice, and you watch the show and have a laugh in the end. And if that's the concept that they were trying to sell us as with Love Meghan episode 1, Meghan hanging out with this friend, and she introduces the show by saying when she's hosting somebody in her home, she likes to put intention. So the whole premise of the show is set on the idea of this thoughtful, friendly, loving, caring person taking time out to prep and organize gifts and stuff for their very good friend who is visiting. And the whole thing fell a little flat for me outside of the cake. That was amazing. Because I'm like, the friend looked very anxious and was very cautious. And you could see, if you're watching it from a technical level, you could also see they were cutting bits and the cuts didn't connect because there was no like real flow of conversation and interaction between them. And I'm watching, I'm thinking, I'm bored. I want to go and sleep. Like, I was watching it with my sister just to distract ourselves from life a little bit because a lot is happening. And half of the time, I ended up taking a walk. I took a long walk to go shopping and then came back and continued. But I was watching it from the point of view that I'll come back and tell you about it. But it was like, I want to try the cake, but the show itself, you know what? This is the lesson I took out of it. In some aspects of the world, it's about who you know and who you're connected to. Because there is no way Netflix would have given that contract with that benign concept, the assumed amount of money. But that is just by the way. That is just by the way. Oh, that's me going on a rant, people. It's been a lot. People, for those of you who are just joining us, hello. They did do Baby Reindeer. You know what? Am I the only person who hasn't seen Baby Reindeer? I don't know what that is all about. But I have a subscription now, so I'm going to watch it maybe. We can come and talk about it. I don't know. For those of you who are just joining me, we are not doing anything. I was just showing my face today simply because I did put in the community post I will. But I have already said, Nicola, great to have you back. I have already said, people, I have some emergency developing. It has taken me away for the last 2 days. And also today, a random one added to it. In fact, as I speak to you, I'm waiting for a mechanic, amongst other things. So my phone is not even on Do Not Disturb. If the call comes, I won't see it. So I'm actually on just borrowed time. I am just on borrowed time, so I will be shooting out in a moment. I'm not going to be here for any longer, but I just thought I will come and show my face and catch up with you people. And just for entertainment, I just thought I'll give you my thoughts on with Love Meghan, the first episode. I have said a lot about it. Like I said, the cake is great. The show is shot amazingly. The music choice and the lines and a lot of manuals have gone into it. Love it. The views. Oh, those people who live in that part of the world, God, no wonder they have so much money. Great for them. The show itself, the concept to the first episode execution, very pretentious. No connection. I couldn't see the connection between the person who is labeled as a friend. If my friend came, if I have to, first of all, if I can't relax around my friend to have a chat with them and know that they know me enough to know what I want to put out and what I want to keep to myself at home, I'm not having them on a world show like that. But at best, I think that wasn't a friend. That was a professional acquaintance who doubled as a friend to fill in. So the conversation were out of whack. He looked very shocked a lot of the time. And he was like, but there were also hearty moments where he was licking raspberry on a spoon, and I thought, that you might get a telling off at the end of it. You know, my sister and I were sort of a little bored. My sister and I were a little bored in the end. I went shopping, and that was episode 1, you know. So yes, yeah, the concept of it just didn't look like what it is sold out to be. But those are like my authentic observations of watching the show and giving it my fairest thought. The pasta, the one pot pasta, I mean, I will say I am African, okay? I am Ghanaian. We like spice. We like taste. First of all, if you see the episode, there was too much lemon zest on that pasta. I'm like, why? That looks like 4 lemon zest in one small pasta. And unless there were lots added to it, it's pasta cooked with water and tomatoes. How tasty can that be? I mean, don't come for me. I'm just telling you my observation. How tasty can that stuff be? Because, I mean, have you seen my spice rack over here? Okay. That thing wasn't. It just looked like pasta in water with leaves on it and tomatoes. But of course, because it is her, if you gave your critical thinking or critical thoughts about it, people will say, oh, you'll hate it. I'm not hating. I'm just watching something for feel good. And if I'm paying, what, $12.99 or however Netflix charges, you better give me Baby Reindeer, apparently. But you know what, people? I haven't seen an episode of Baby Reindeer. So I'm going to just take my loud mouth and go to the left and keep quiet. Okay? Whew, people. Jackie. Okay. Whew. Okay. I have a lot to say right now, but hold on. Give me a minute. Let me see. Is the phone ringing? Oh, it hasn't rung. Nobody's ringing me. Okay. Right, people. Let's see. What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? Let's see. Right, people. I have stuff happening, okay? Just... okay. I'm just trying to catch up because I've been over here shooting my mouth off, not knowing what's happening. Ooh, what have I missed? Did I see in the chat, Tapita, you said you could have died yesterday, honey? Oh my God, if that is what I read, I am so glad to have you here. We thank God for you being alive, okay? Whew, a lot happens. Let's see. Yeah, with Tatiana was asking what show. We're talking with Love Meghan. I mean, that show has gotten a lot of attention for good or bad reason. I don't subscribe to any of that. I gave the show a good watch yesterday. Look, I had a lot happening. I was looking for some distraction. I thought, okay, for a Netflix subscription and for a show that has so much attention, let me give it a good shot. And clearly, I've given you my thoughts. There were good parts of it. And the good parts of it are good, really good. I think the way the show was shot and everything that I've spoken about, including the cake. And also, I am focusing much of my commentary on the parts of the show that focuses on the cake also. And episode 1 featured a honey and lemon cake. And it was really good the way it came out. And I'd like to try that cake. But outside of that, the concept of the show is slightly flawed because there didn't seem to be any true connection. If you want to watch a show like that, make a show like that with your friend, bring some real friends. But we don't know her, so I don't know whether sometimes you may have real friends, but they may not be a part of your life. Like, I know that, at least from this little thing I'm doing right here, that people in my life don't subscribe to being over here with me. You know, the connection and interaction I have with you guys have nothing to do with the people in my life. And I do actually have real friends and real people in my life. But I don't know how they would feel about me dragging them into this life that I have here that is exposed. So she might have good friends off the program who may just not want to be a part of her professional association. And if that's the reason, then they needed to kind of pitch the idea of the show differently and not set it in her being this homemaker and friend, because it could have just been a YouTube show then. Why is it on Netflix with... I'm not jealous when I talk about why. I'm just asking the question that in this day and age where money is so tight and people are losing jobs, why? It might just be a case of, you know what, it was about who she knew and the connection. I mean, connection and relationship does give you yields. And if her association to the royals and everything else that comes with her was the selling point, then yeah, she got what was worth, and why not? Good on her. But this whole thing of this show being amazing, whoever is saying it's amazing, Lollipop, you have fallen into the rabbit hole. Grace just got here. Hi, Jackie. Whew. Look. Yeah, if you know what, in all fairness, if you would like to go give it a good shot, I'll encourage you to go watch it for yourself. Don't take my word for it, because I had to try so hard to feel like, okay, I don't want to be influenced by the propaganda that comes with her, you know, whether good or bad, because she does receive an unfair amount of coverage, and more so for not good reasons. Like, you could critically pass your thoughts like any public person without actually aiming to disable her. Like, if you've got to think about how much flack she takes, and people just assume the whole point of view that they know her and they have every insight about her. And I just don't think that is fair on her. Has she done enough to has she done a lot to kind of court the sort of unnecessary attention? Yes. But does she really deserve all of that? No, she doesn't. So I wanted to give it a fair shot. And you know what? Even with a fair level of bias, if the show was really good, I'll tell you the show is so good. I love, in fact, I'll tell you the part that I love the most. And maybe I'll tell you that more in detail in the other video, because I've got to go shortly. When she brought Roy Choi, if you've not seen the show we're talking about with Love Meghan, if you see her with Roy, is it Roy Choi? Yeah, he's a chef. And when you see that episode, that was where connection was. And perhaps that was because he was a professional and he didn't give a crap about making her feel any better or kissing her. Like, he wasn't in to do anything besides the fact that he loved food. He was an expert, and he led the show. So she had nothing but to kind of in the background keep, and I think she accepted the backseat role to not be the lead, and he led the show. So you could see a connection between them. It wasn't like the sort of like you are my friend connection, but it was like, you know what, we are getting on, it's great. And he was amazing. He was making off the cuff like comments. He said random things, and you could see that sometimes she got caught like almost like gritting her teeth, but not in the way that she did to her friend, you know, in episode 1. and she felt a little more relaxed. But one thing I picked up in the show, she didn't answer some of the questions. Like in the interaction, he will ask a question about, oh, did you like gardening? And if you're watching it from a technical point, you would see that the cut that goes to her answering the question wasn't her answering the question. It was probably an unassociated. I'm saying this because I do my own editing. So if you watch a thing from, I don't say this as a super expert, but I do have an idea about how you can cut and join two things to make it look like one thing that originally isn't. And I do that because sometimes when in my own videos, when I filmed, you could make a video look any way you want. If you know, it depends on the point of view you're trying to present the video. And you can tell that because he was just like himself and he was doing what he was doing and they were talking, there were things that, of course, it's a program, so they would have a set of things they will discuss. There's a subject matter and all of that stuff, but you can see he was just being himself, and because of that he asked her unprompted questions and sometimes she couldn't answer, so then the cut will be her talking about the subject. So for instance, in a shot, if we're talking about, okay, we're talking about these cupcakes, you know, I love cake, I'm doing this, and then somebody asked me, so how did you make this? And I'm like, you know what, they are actually so good for children. I'm not asking you who did. I said, how did you make this? So you know what, they're made from cupcake batter. They're so easy to make. Actually, the recipe is this. They're very simple to make, and the intention, no, if I'm telling you, you know, how did you make this? And I'm like, oh, they're good for children because you know what? They present well at kids' parties. They are fast free. I'm not answering the question. Just saying. That said, people, like I said, we are not trying to be negative or. Look, if you have a Netflix subscription, I have said that sometimes on the platform, on the show, I want to create a segment where we can find something we watch together that connects with cake. And the only reason, so if you ask me right now, what was my reason to going to watch with Love Meghan? It's because there was food and cake in there, okay? The honey and lemon cake was amazing, okay? But outside of that, I'll give it a pass. But I'll watch it for you. I'll come back and tell you about Roy Choi. Yeah, answering like a lawyer. You know what? I don't even think she was answering like a lawyer. I think when they went to do post-production, they realized some of the lack of connection, and to allow flow in the edits, they had to cut parts to kind of fit. It happens a lot. Like I tell you, I edit my own, especially, look, if you want to understand what I'm saying, go back and watch my small series over here that I made, like simple classic recipes. Those were the videos where I'm on camera and you can see me do stuff. I will tell you, if I were to show you the raw footage, it's not like you're faking anything. The intention here is not selling you the idea that we fake stuff. No. But sometimes the video is longer, like sometimes I'm shooting, let's say, an hour's footage, and I have to condense that hour's footage to 8 minutes. Can you see? So for every X amount of minutes, I have to reduce it to seconds. So every moment counts. So when I started that series, I think episode 1, I had a 40 minutes video, and it was so long, and my head was so like, even watching it back, I could see the errors of the edit. And by, I think, episode 5 or 6, by the time I got there, I had managed to get my cuts easily. And I tell you, the best edit I got, if you watch that video, you will see the feel-good factor. The best one was the one I made, the vanilla cheese, is it cheesecake style filling, the cake that is stacked. I'll link it here. When you see, I'm only bringing that as a point of reference, not for any technical reason, but to kind of reinforce the notion that when an edit is good, the watcher feels the vibe, you know? And for that to happen, you have to think about a lot of things. And I think the production people who did the shots, were fantastic at what they did, but their talent, which is her, didn't seem to give them a lot, or they had to scrap footage. Look, this is me going into the area of conjecture and assumption, stuff I don't know about. So let's stick with the facts here. The facts are that the cats were very jumpy. The flow just seemed off. The connection was very subpar. But the show itself, the people she hired did an amazing job. If you like good music that shoots in and out and gives you a feel-good factor, but it's not something you're going to sit there and watch and feel like I'm going to watch episode 2, and it's not that kind of thing. You watch one, you're like, I've seen it, I'm bored, go back. Okay, so that's where we are. But people, I have already said, you know, I would tell you the part about, you know, the subject about them and the royals and the queen stuff is the stuff that draws a lot of like negativity and drama. I'd love to leave that stuff alone and just look at with Love Meghan, which I watched. I'll come back and tell you some more, but people, I've got to go and see to this emergency that is developing in my life. I'll be back, not tomorrow. You won't see me tomorrow, just a quick update. You won't see me tomorrow, you won't see me Monday. But hopefully we should be back on Tuesday on a regular schedule and see how the week goes. But check in the community post for more that's happening over there. And yes, there should be a small a regular video of decorating that pink cake that was made into a short. You'll have the full length video tomorrow, and of course the shorts videos continues as usual. I should be back on Tuesday, people, God willing. All of you, thanks for joining me today for this small session right here. And yeah, thanks always for the love and support, and I'll see you soon. You too, people, you too. Thank you so very much.